While Northwestern is trying to shore up the passing game, they look for similar results from their number one back, one of the best in the Big Ten, Justin Jackson, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons as we head toward 2016. We bring in Zach Peerless from Inside NU to help us out with the running game there at Northwestern. Zach, always appreciate the time and running down the personnel, and Justin Jackson's become a star in college football, 1,400 yards, 5 touchdowns. We can only imagine what he could do if teams had to respect the outside receivers.
Yeah, Justin Jackson has been phenomenal for Northwestern, really the epitome of consistency as well. Has stayed healthy through 2 years. Guy that's really not, as far as physical skills, doesn't really overwhelm you. He's not real big, not real fast. What he is he's very quick in small spaces. You can look at pretty much any game and you'll see that he just makes guys miss at the line of scrimmage, turns 2-yard gains into 5-yard gains. Turns a lot of losses into either no gain or even for a couple yards. Like you said, that he's been able to thrive despite the fact that Northwestern had next to nothing from the passing game last year. He's definitely worked on expanding his game as well, catching the ball out of the backfield. Probably what's most impressive about him, though, is 30-plus carries, a lot of games this year. Really put the team on his back. There's no really other way to say it. When the team was struggling, they handed him the ball. When the team was up, they just pounded the ball up the middle with him. He's very, very good at making one or two guys miss. Not going to break a lot of huge runs off just because he doesn't really have that incredible long-distance speed. But he's very, very quick in small spaces, and that also helps him. He really doesn't take a lot of big hits. He finds a way to sidestep out. Even if he does get tackled, he never really gets hit full on. So that's what's made him so consistent and really so healthy.
You know, Zach, to your point, it's amazing for a team that won 10 games. Usually there are quite a few blowouts in there. Obviously, you know better than anybody when Northwestern lost last year was to some of the better teams in the country, and they lost big, narrow wins along the way. And if it's not for Justin Jackson knocking out a $120 against Duke, 35 carries in that game. The Ball State game was extremely close at home. He ran for 184, ripped it up against Minnesota, the close wins against Nebraska. He didn't have a big game there, but down the stretch, 186 in that real close one against Penn State. Purdue was a touchdown game in which he ran for $116. Illinois, Wisconsin, close wins there. And just a very consistent running back for the Northwestern Wildcats. Caught 21 passes, and to your point there, we'll see if he gets more involved in the passing game. Let's look at the backups. A couple guys fairly highly recruited, a couple guys immediate in the backup position, guys that have proven themselves at this level in Warren Long, who ran for 5.5 yards a carry and 5 touchdowns last year, and also, basically Long, the one guy that's got a track record.
Yeah, Warren Long's development was kind of one of the underlying storylines of last season. He came in to spell Jackson, even though really it was impressive that he didn't get more carries. Warren Long was viewed as kind of a short yardage back, and then, like you said, went out and averaged 5.5 yards a carry this year, which was a big surprise. He's really improved his speed, his quickness in space. I was really impressed with him last year. Came in, he's still very good in between the tackles in those short yardage situations, but he definitely developed into one of the Big Ten's better backup running backs, I guess. And I would say that he could start at a lot of places. Very strong guy, and the improved speed really helped Northwestern as well. Also a really good special teams player. He's usually a gunner on the outside. And a blocker for kick returns as well.
In terms of what Northwestern's been able to recruit in recent years, anybody else that we should look out for? I see that John Moten was a fairly highly recruited guy in that 2015 class.
John Moten, a guy out of St. Louis, really impressed last year, even as like the scout team freshman, redshirt freshman running back, really impressed the coaches. Good size, good speed. Kind of looks like Justin Jackson in the way that he runs, except maybe a little bit bigger and a little bit faster. and not quite as good in small areas. He's a guy that they're looking to take a little bit of the load off of Jackson's shoulders this year. So whether that's more carries for Long, more carries for John Moten, and then maybe that fourth back in the mix is Austin Anderson. Tiny little guy, probably 5'8", 5'9", but can really move, very fast guy. They could try to look into him in some screen plays, try to get him out in space as well. But it's probably going to be Jackson and Long. John Moten has impressed. We'll see if he can get some carries. And then Austin Anderson, maybe spot duty, if anything.
All right, with over 2,600 yards in 2 campaigns, Justin Jackson making his way up the charts in the record books there at Northwestern. Zach Peerless from Inside NU helping us break down the backfield there for the Wildcats. Thanks a lot, Zach.
Thanks so much.